Hey everyone, so number 41 on my list of 100 greatest songs of all time is In Bloom by Nirvana. I spoke a little bit about Nirvana already, I think, and they would be my second most influential, or the band that has the most influence on me music wise. Obviously, I was quite young when I started listening to them, and they kind of blew me away. And I remember, like everybody remembers the Smells Like Teen Spirit video, but In Bloom stuck out for me even more because it showed a sense of humor. Now, I'm not saying at the time people knew about Kurt Cobain's mental health issues or mental illness, or they portrayed him as this really sad person or anything like that. But I love the fact that like In Bloom is kind of done based on old Ed Sullivan clips, but it goes between Nirvana as like these real polished 60s band playing In Bloom, and then it cuts to another one where they're kind of dressed up in dresses and smashing the place up. And I like the kind of humor to the video. And, I think it's always good to see that from a band anyway, that they don't take themselves too seriously. And I was reading this book about, the story behind the songs of Nirvana, and Kurt Cobain wrote this about jocks at the shows because they were getting a little bit more people at their shows after their debut album Bleach, and there was a lot of jocks there, and he never really had time for them in school because he was probably pushed around by some of them. And the lines in the chorus, he's the one who likes all our pretty songs, and he likes to sing along, and he likes to shoot his gun, but he don't know what it means. And it's just basically a dig at the idea that these meatheads were too stupid to understand what he was singing about, and that possibly they wouldn't understand this song was aimed at them. What's another interesting thing about it, he tries to cram in pretty much every chord he can into this song. It's like, I don't know if it was inspired by it, but or if this inspired just by Radiohead. But he plays so many chords in this song. Like it starts off, so my eyesight is shit. So he starts off. Oh no, that's different rhythm. Sorry. So it's and then it goes into it's just the bass, so it's he comes back in. Sorry about the sound of my guitar, it's terrible. But yeah, so that's the basics of the verses, and then he comes into the chorus. So it's like, whilst he's singing, and I remember watching the classic albums episode about this, and whilst he's singing, Butch Vig, the producer, who was ended up being the drummer in the band Garbage, the Shirley Manson band, he wanted a different vocal take from Kurt Cobain, and he kind of convinced him or tricked him into singing it a few times, saying to him that he knew that Kurt Cobain was a big Beatles fan. He said to him, John Lennon used to double track all his vocals. Kurt didn't know this at the time and decided, well, that would be cool if I did that as well. And he took little snippets so he could get the phrasings right. So he spent a lot of time editing and making that Kurt's vocals perfect. And then they decided to put on a harmony. If you listen to that harmony or try to sing that harmony even better, it's Dave Grohl who's actually singing the harmony. And initially Dave Grohl felt it was too high for his voice, but they eventually got it, and he double tracked it as well, so there's like a lot of vocals on it. And that harmony is so hard. And he didn't do it live because I can imagine it was one of those, I'll get this done in the studio and then I'm out, I'm never doing it again. but it adds an awful lot to the chorus. Chris Novoselic talked about just like servicing the song, and Chris Novoselic is a brilliant bass player, very underrated bass player, and he's got some incredible bass lines in a lot of Nirvana songs. Lithium is one, Heart Shaped Box is another one. But what he does in this song, like he said, is just services the song. He's just adding that line or move in between. There's not much else he can do because there's so much going on with the what like the it's like it is literally all over the fretboard. My guitar sounds terrible, and I don't know why. I don't really know anything about my amps that I have, to be honest. I can't figure out the overdrive. My brother gave it to me, so I'm still like, it's the worst thing about it is the app I use for it is on the phone, and I'm recording using my phone, so I can't make it more overdrive, and it's very overdrive, this song. When I sat down to play drums for the first time, my ambition was to play this song. So if the start of the song is dun 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 boom 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 clut 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 clut, and that doesn't sound like it's particularly difficult when I'm doing it, but if you listen to it, the timing of it is really, really good. And he plays a drum roll into the he's the one who likes all the pretty songs. It's incredible drumming. Like this was Dave Grohl's first album with Nirvana, because Chad Channing had played before this. There's actually a version that was released, and there was a video made for it of In Bloom with Chad Channing on the drums, and it's great, but he doesn't quite have the looseness. Like, drummers are supposed to be really tight, but there's a certain looseness to Dave Grohl, and you can hear it in a lot of Nirvana's recordings, and you can hear it a lot of on the album he did with Queens of the Stone Age. He is a really, really technically brilliant drummer, but also very loose. Unfortunately, he started the Foo Fighters, so that's a blot on his copybook. But I don't know, I'm taking shots at the Foo Fighters unnecessarily. But this has been, if you listen to, do you know what's another thing about this song? I could go on about this song for ages, to be honest. His tone, the tone he uses on his solo, like Kurt Cobain's solos are amazing because there's not a lot going on, but he manages to get this tone, the same as you listen to the solo in Smells Like Teen Spirit. Whatever setting he uses on his guitar or on his pedal board, it's just ideal for the song. And this, I love the solo in Bloom. It's kind of really sloppy or something, and this is another example of, he did take inspiration from the Pixies sound of that quiet, loud kind of structure of a song, and it is in this because you can hear I can't do it because I don't have the, but it's clean in the chorus. Whatever. But then the overdrive kicks in, and they obviously double up. But he actually uses in the recording, he uses a certain amp for the verses and a completely different amp for the chorus to give it that oomph. And like Butch Vig can't get enough credit for what he did with this album and the making of, to help Kurt Cobain get the sound and his ideas across. But yeah, In Bloom, like the whole Nevermind album is incredible, but In Bloom was, for me, it's the standout on that album. So yeah, thanks for watching.